This is Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 251, Tipiṭaka, part 166, in which I will begin reading Mahāvagga part 6. The way I figure, there are three choices. I'll present you with three choices. And it doesn't matter all that much which one you choose. But just so you know that there's options. For the next half hour, you will hear me reading. And what you will hear me reading, you can rest assured knowing that it is the English translation of ancient, more than 2,000-year-old Buddhist scriptures, before Mahayana, ancient Buddhist scriptures, possibly even an accurate description of events which actually took place when Lord Buddha was walking the earth. There's no way to know for sure without a time machine, but this is the closest that we can get. What you're going to hear today is that for half an hour, and that's good. However, if you would like, big if you would like to start at the beginning of the Tipiṭaka instead, you will also get that same thing, and the option to embark upon a journey which so far is about 85 hours of me talking, reading the Tipiṭaka, the three baskets of pre-sectarian early Buddhism. If you want to start that 85-hour-long journey, by the time you catch up with today, I will already probably be on the next book, and there'll still be many more hours to enjoy, if it's an enjoyable thing for you. That's option 2. There is a third option. That's the good news. You heard me mention that this is Mahāvagga part 6. So in the beginning of the Vinaya Piṭaka, which is the discipline basket, which is these 6 books, if you're seeing me visually, the books behind me. In the beginning, there is the Mahāvibhanga, I think, or the Sutta Vibhanga, one of those, which is to say the rules for monks. And then there's the Bhikkhuni Vibhanga, Mahāvibhanga, Bhikkhuni Vibhanga, something like that, something similar to that. My apologies. Anyway, the Bhikkhuni Vibhanga is the rules for nuns. After the rules for nuns begins Mahāvagga I. And that would only be setting out on a, I don't know how many hours, but less than 85. For sure, less than 85. Maybe even more like 7 or 8 hour journey to catch up. If you want to look at it as catching up, I wouldn't recommend looking at it as catching up. Hence the first option of just enjoying today's episode. I've been talking for too long. Anyway, so if I didn't point to it already, here's the Tipiṭaka. That's if you want to start at the very beginning, and of which this is episode 166 of the Tipiṭaka. And if you want to start with Mahāvagga I and watch those 8, and then that will immediately be followed by, 5 or however many of Mahāvagga II, Mahāvagga III, 4, 5. And then today we're beginning number 6. Here's the Mahāvagga playlist. Okay, that's it. Now I'll start reading Mahāvagga 6, but first we have to read the end of Mahāvagga 5. So at the end of many things, they do a key. They'll say, this is its key. It says that here. Sometimes they don't actually say this is the key. Sometimes they do. In this case, they do. So the key means, like, for example, if you were to try to memorize things for a test, you might, instead of, saying aloud whole paragraphs or whole pages of information, you might condense it down to a single sentence, which ends up sounding a little bit like gibberish if you say it out loud. You say, like, Great Wall of China, Mongols came, like, just whatever, or I guess the Mongols came first in that case. So here's the key of Mahāvagga V, and then we'll move on to Mahāvagga VI. Here we go. In this section, there are 63 items. This is its key. The king of Magadha, Sona, and 80,000 chieftains. Sagata showed much that was further on Vulture Peak. They were broken by his output, parentheses of energy and parentheses ongoing forth. The lute with one lining, dark green, yellow, red, crimson, and indeed black, orange, multicolored, and he objected to edgings. Heels, knee boots, top boots, cotton, partridges, rams, goats, scorpions, peacocks, and embroidered, decorated with lions, tigers, and panthers, antelopes, beavers and cats, squirrels, owls, sandals for split, parentheses feet, and parentheses, corns, unwashed, tree stumps, rasping, palm, bamboo, and indeed grass, munya, babaja, marshy date palm, kamala, don't remind me. Never mind. I won't get into that stuff here. It's a kind of palm, apparently. Woolen, golden, silver, gems, lapis lazuli, crystal, bronze, and glass, and tin, lead, copper. Cows, a vehicle and ill, yoked with bulls, a palanquin, things to recline on, large hides, and the depraved one with a cowhide. On what belongs to householders, with thongs of hide, they enter on one being ill. Kakayana the Great, Sona, bracket parentheses, recites, and bracket parentheses, from memory what belongs to the divisions in the eights. A group of 5 for ordination, many linings, constant bathing. He allowed hides, parentheses, to be used as, end parentheses, coverings, reckoning not necessarily until. The leader gave these 5 boons to the elder Sona. Now we're finished with Mahāvagga V. So here we go. The Great Division, Mahāvagga VI. At that time, the Lord was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, monks, afflicted by an affection occurring in the autumn, brought up the congee they had drunk and brought up the rice they had eaten. Because of this they became lean, wretched, of a bad color, yellowish, the veins standing out on their limbs. I think it means they threw up. So they brought up. So 1930s British way of translating the Pali for they vomited. Anyway, the Lord saw these monks who were lean, 3 dots. Thank you, Pali Text Society. standing out on their limbs. Seeing them, he addressed the Venerable Ananda, saying, quote, "Now, how is it, Ananda, that at present monks are lean, 3 dots, standing out on their limbs?" End quote. Quote, "At present, Lord, monks afflicted by an affection occurring in the autumn bring up the congee they have drunk and bring up the rice they have eaten. Because of this, they are lean, 3 dots, standing out on their limbs." End quote. Then, as the Lord was meditating in seclusion, a reasoning arose in his mind thus, quote, "At present, monks afflicted by an affection occurring in the autumn bring up 3 dots, standing out on their limbs. What now if I should allow medicine for monks? Whatever is medicine, as well as what may be agreed upon as medicine. And although it may serve as nutriment for people, yet could not be reckoned as substantial food?" End quote. Then it occurred to the Lord, quote, "These 5 medicines, that is to say, ghee, fresh butter, oil, honey, molasses, are medicines, and are also agreed upon as medicines. And although they serve as nutriment for people, yet they cannot be reckoned as substantial food. What now if I should allow monks to make use of these 5 medicines at the right time, if they have accepted them at the right time?" End quote. For the robot, the AI algorithm monitoring the words that I'm saying, I'm reading something from 2,600 years ago, and in no way advocating that people use ghee, butter, molasses, or honey as medicine. They should instead consult a professional doctor if they have some kind of illness. Okay, sorry. Just had to talk to the robot for a minute. Back to the humans. The humans already know. They don't need explanation. Then the Lord, having emerged from seclusion towards the evening, having given reason to talk on this occasion, addressed the monks, saying, quote, "Now, monks, as I was meditating in seclusion," 3 dots, quote within quotes, 3 dots, "yet could not be reckoned as substantial food," end quote within quotes. "Monks, concerning this, it occurred to me," quote within quotes, "these 5 medicines, that is to say, 3 dots. Suppose I were to allow monks to make use of these 5 medicines at the right time, if they have accepted them at the right time," end quote within quotes. "I allow you monks to make use of these 5 medicines at the right time, if you have accepted them at the right time," end quote. Now at that time, monks, having accepted these 5 medicines at a right time, made use of them at a right time. But even with these, they did not digest ordinary coarse meals, much less greasy ones. And because of this, they were afflicted by the affection occurring in the autumn. And in consequence, there was also a loss of appetite. And as a result of both these parentheses factors, end parentheses, they became increasingly lean, wretched, of a bad color, yellowish, with the veins standing out on their limbs. The Lord saw these monks, who were increasingly lean, 3 dots, standing out on their limbs. Seeing them, he addressed the Venerable Ananda, saying, quote, "Now, why is it, Ananda, that at present monks are increasingly lean, 3 dots, standing out on their limbs?" End quote. Quote, at present, Lord, monks, having accepted those 5 medicines at a right time, make use of them at the right time. 3 dots. And as a result of both of these, parentheses, factors, end parentheses, they are increasingly lean. 3 dots stand out on their limbs. Then the Lord, having given reasoned talk on this occasion, addressed the monks, saying, quote, I allow you, monks, having accepted these 5 medicines, to make use of them at the right time and also at the wrong time. End quote. So I think at the right time meant like when it's time to eat, according to the rules of monkhood. So now it's you can take the medicine whenever, middle of the night, first thing in the morning, whatever. Yeah, it seems reasonable, right? Now at that time, ill monks have need of tallows as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you, monks, to make use of tallows as medicines by using them with oil. Tallow from bears, tallow from fish, tallow from alligators, tallow from swine, tallow from donkeys, parentheses, if each, end parentheses, is accepted at a right time, cooked at a right time, mixed at a right time. Editor Edward, could you remind us, what are tallows? Odorless, tasteless, waxy white fat, consisting of suet, S-U-B-T, parentheses, the hard fat about the kidneys and loins of cattle, sheep, and horses, end parentheses, or similar vegetable substances. Tallow consists mainly of glycerol esters of oleic, palmitic, and stearic acids. Thank you, Editor Edward. All right. Lord Buddha still talking. If monks, one should make use of that which is accepted at a wrong time, cooked at a wrong time, mixed at a wrong time, there is an offense of 3 wrongdoings. If monks, one should make use of that which is accepted at a right time, cooked at a wrong time, mixed at a wrong time, there is an offense of 2 wrongdoings. If monks, one should make use of that which is accepted at a right time, cooked at a right time, mixed at a wrong time, there is an offense of 1 wrongdoing. If monks, one should make use of that which is accepted at a right time, cooked at a right time, mixed at a right time, there is no offense. End quote. Now at that time, ill monks had need of roots as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you, monks, if there is a reason, to make use of roots as medicines: turmeric, ginger, orris root, white orris root, garlic, black hellebore, couscous, nutgrass, or whatever other roots there are that are medicines. If they do not serve among solid foods as a solid food, if they do not serve among soft foods as a soft food. And having accepted them, to preserve them for as long as life lasts. If there is no reason, there is an offensive wrongdoing for one who makes use of, parentheses, any of these medicines, end parentheses, end quote. Yeah, you don't just take medicine willy-nilly, like pop open the medicine cabinet. I feel like having this today. Now at that time, ill monks had need, as medicines, of what was pounded off roots. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you monks a parentheses lower end parentheses grindstone, a parentheses small end parentheses grindstone, end parentheses. Now at that time, ill monks had need of astringent decoctions as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you monks, if there is a reason, to make use of astringent decoctions as medicine, astringent decoctions from the nim tree, astringent decoctions from the kutaja, astringent decoctions from the pakava, astringent decoctions from the natamala, or whatever other astringent decoctions there are that are medicines if they do not serve among solid foods as solid food, if they do not serve among soft foods as soft food. If that whole thing about if they do not serve as solid foods as solid food, if they do not serve as soft foods as soft foods makes sense to anybody who's watching this, please explain it to me in the comments below. Right. And having accepted them, to preserve them for as long as life lasts. If there is no reason, there is an offensive wrongdoing for anyone who makes use of, bracket parentheses, any of these medicines, end bracket parentheses. Now at that time, ill monks had need of leaves as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you monks, if there is a reason, to make use of leaves as medicines, nim leaves, kutaja leaves, cucumber leaves, basil leaves, cotton tree leaves, or whatever other leaves there are that are medicines, if they do not serve, parentheses, any of these medicines, end parentheses, end quote. Now at that time, ill monks had need of fruits as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you monks, if there is a reason, to make use of fruits as medicines. Vilanga, pepper, black pepper, yellow myrobalan, balearic myrobalan, emblic myrobalan, gotha fruit, or whatever other fruits there are that are medicines if they do not serve. Parentheses, any of these medicines, end parentheses, end quote. So next time someone asks for fruit, just give them a little pile of black pepper. See what they say. Don't do that. It's probably not a good idea. Now at that time, ill monks had need of resins as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you monks, if there is a reason, to make use of resins as medicines. Hingu resin, hingu gum, gumpati, gumpani, or whatever other resins there are that are medicines, if they do not serve, parentheses, any of these medicines, end parentheses, end quote. Now at that time, ill monks had need of salts as medicines. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you monks, if there is a reason, to make use of salts as medicines. C, parentheses, hyphen, salt, end parentheses. Black salt, That's like sulfur salt that has sulfur in it. It tastes like... It tastes like a health hazard. I'll just say that. Just in case anybody's eating, I won't say exactly what it tastes like, in my opinion. It's very popular here. It's one of those things I'm like, wow, that's different. All right. Anyway, rock salt, culinary salt, red salt, or whatever other salts there are that are medicines if they do not serve among solid foods as a solid food, if they do not serve among soft foods as a soft food. Apparently it's really good for digestion. It's like good for you. It just is like, whoa, this tastes. Anyway, sorry. And having accepted them, to preserve them for as long as life lasts. If there is no reason, there is an offensive wrongdoing for one who makes use, parentheses, of any of these medicines, end parentheses, end quote. Now at that time, the Venerable Bellathassissa, new character, the Venerable Ananda's preceptor, Venerable Ananda is over here, had an affliction of thick scabs. Because of the discharge, his robes stuck to his body. Probably better not to eat while you're watching Buddhist Books podcasts, in general, just in case things like this happen. Sometimes things like this, it's sometimes much worse than this. Not all the time, but sometimes. Monks, having repeatedly moistened these with water, loosened them, and as the Lord was touring the lodgings, he saw these monks loosening the robes, having repeatedly moistened them with water. And seeing, parentheses, this, end parentheses, he approached these monks. Having approached, he spoke thus to these monks. Quote, "What, monks, is this monk's affliction?" End quote. Quote, "Lord, this venerable one has an affliction of thick scabs. Because of the discharge, his robes stick to his body. Having repeatedly moistened them with water, we are loosening them." End quote. Then the Lord, in this connection, having given reason to talk, addressed the monks, saying, quote, "I allow, monks, for one who has itch, or small boil, or running sore, or an affliction of thick scabs, or for one whose body smells nasty. Chawnams as medicines. For one who is not ill, dung, clay, boiled coloring matter. I allow you, monks, a pestle and mortar." End quote. Now at that time, ill monks had need of sifted chawnams as medicines. 3 dots. Quote, "I allow you, monks, a chawnam sifter." End quote. Editor Edward, could you remind us, what are chawnams? All right, I had to do a little bit of digging for this one. So I don't know why I was pronouncing it chawnam when it's spelled Chunam. And so when I searched for that, I searched for sifted chunam. And the only thing that I could find was that it was something that Lord Buddha talked about in the Pali Scriptures, that the old monks used as medicine. And Google was like, I don't know, beyond that, I don't know. But then I found chunam with 2 N's, Chunnam, is a medicine used in the Siddha system of medicine to treat chronic diseases. It is a white alkaline powder made from minerals, metals, and marine products. It's a highly acclaimed dosage form in Siddha medicine. So what is Siddha medicine? It is a traditional medical system from South India that uses medical plants and minerals to treat illness. It is believed to have originated in ancient Tamil Nadu, South India, thousands of years ago. It's thought to have developed during the Indus civilization, which flourished between 2500 and 1700 BCE. Anyone familiar with geography will note that the Indus River Valley civilization was in the Indus River Valley, which is in North India, and the people, the inscriptions and such are in the old Dravidian language, not Sanskrit, and so a lot of it's a controversial topic, but a lot of people believe that the original inhabitants of that ancient civilization went south, or also existed in the south, or something, and so yeah, it's interesting that it says that it's believed to have originated in Tamil Nadu, since it's being used by the ancient Buddhists in more like Bihar, which is in like north, a little bit to the east, and they're tracing the roots back to the Indus River Valley civilization, which is a little further north than Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is in the southernmost tip of India. Anyway, so it's a medicine that leads to a little bit of a rabbit hole if you Google it. Thank you, Editor Edward. We can always count on you to Google things for us. Right. That they had need of very fine ones. Quote, I allow you monks a cloth sifter. End quote. Now at that time, a certain monk had a non-human affliction. Teachers and preceptors, although nursing him, were unable to get him well. He, having gone to the swine's slaughter place, ate raw flesh and drank raw blood. It was a different time. And his non-human affliction subsided. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow, monks, when one has a non-human affliction, raw flesh and raw blood, end quote. Now at that time, a certain monk came to have an illness affecting his eyes. Having taken hold of that monk, they made him go out to ease himself. I learned in the past, when we were reading an earlier book, that is 1930s British for peeing, to ease oneself. All right, anyway. As the Lord was touring the lodgings, he saw those monks who, having taken hold of that monk, were making him go out to ease himself. Seeing, parentheses this, and parentheses, he approached those monks. Having approached, he spoke thus to those monks, quote, what, monks, is this monk's affliction? End quote. Quote, Lord, this venerable one has an illness affecting his eyes. We, having taken hold of him, are making him go out to ease himself. End quote. Then the Lord, in this connection, having given reason to talk, addressed the monks, saying, quote, I allow, monks, these ointments, black collyrium, rasa ointment, sota ointment, yellow ochre, lamp black. End quote. They had need of ointment powders. Quote, I allow, monks, the use of sandalwood, rose bay, black gum, talisa, nutgrass. End quote. All right. That's our reading for today, and I'm not sure what to say. Well, there it is. I hope that you are having a good day. And next time we will pick up where we left off this time and read some more of Mahāvagga VI. Hopefully it's just as engaging and interesting as the beginning of Mahāvagga VI was. Maybe even more so. We got to meet a new character, Ananda's preceptor. Who knew? I think I always assumed Lord Buddha himself was Ananda's preceptor. That means like his teacher, his immediate like mentor in the order. Okay, so I will go ahead and do the closing. And, all right. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.